Very different it looked per region when we compared it to the Americas, and now it's time for both these guys to put it on the line. It is single elimination in this quarterfinals. Tanaka Tsubasa and Matsu will be waiting after this match. Of course, this match will be O2LOVEO and Charmi. Guys, let's get into it. O2LOVEO and Charmi, as this match is brought to you today by Google Play. Find new arenas and discover the latest and greatest games today only on Google Play. Let's get into it. Stoic, take it away.
All right, here we go. You see the pre-ban just going out here. Nephthys and Gianna getting pre-banned by O2LOVEO and Charmi. O2LOVEO locking in that Hathor very quickly.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense here, that Nephthys and that Gianna. I mean, both very, very strong units, potentially needing nerfs. So obviously they're the pre-bans. O2LOVEO taking the Hathor and the immediate response of the Sierra Fran. I'm not crazy about Fran here because Fran opens Charmi up to a lot of fast play, forcing Charmi to go some sort of Molly Juno, really slow comps. That Fran really locks his speed in off the bat.
Yeah, O2LOVEO drafting that Chiwu and Gani, completing that Gani Hathor combination quickly. Charmi's looking for a Velajul, and Josephine definitely signaling he's going to be letting that Hathor through. O2LOVEO looking at a Savannah and Wunsa.
Yeah, and I think the Savannah and the Wunsa together, it's a little bit an odd pick because Savannah and Wunsa, if you take out the Savannah, you're going to be lacking a lot of damage. And that's probably what he's going to do. He's going to take out, probably split the Gani Hathor in this situation here. But you lack a lot of damage when you take the Chiwu and the Wunsa together. I've done it myself before, and I think every time I've done it, I've lost every single game here. So I think Charmi is in a really good spot here. He has all the components, the heals, the immunities, and he's taking a Rika last. Obviously, O2LOVEO doesn't have immunity. So I think on draft-wise, Charmi's draft just looks a lot stronger.
Yeah, Charmi definitely second-guessing himself. Is back and forth with that Rika in Leo. Bans out the Savannah, bans out the Rika. We have our draft. Speed leads for both teams. I do believe we should be seeing O2LOVEO taking first turn here. And here we go, guys. First round of today's APAC SWC match. Inhale's coming out by this Wunsa, not getting a full strip on top of that Velajul, and that's actually huge, meaning that Chiwu has to get the strip on the Velajul and does not receive it.
That's highly unlucky. Actually, off draft, O2LOVEO was looking in a good spot because he had Gani Hathor lockdown, but unfortunately did not land anything, but is able to still get Gani Hathor. So everyone is, I mean, the audience here is going to be sitting on the couch here because we're going to be here for probably 20 minutes here while this game drags on.
That was rough. O2LOVEO having to go through 4 units to get what he wanted in the first place, which was a strip reset onto the Velajul, and it took all 4 of his units to get to that point, not even receiving that sleep onto the Velajul. Glancing does get applied to CR, and you can see 2-turn sleep coming from Musa on to that Velajul.
Yeah, and actually, that's a time you do not want to land that sleep. He did land the sleep proccing the Josephine shields, but of course, Josephine did miss on skill 1, so Hathor is able to put everything to sleep, including the audience. And now we're going to see a Gani Hathor lockdown, and I think this highly favors O2LOVEO here.
Yep, highly favors O2LOVEO for sure. Here we go. He's going to be focusing down this Velajul. Does get the strip of that second skill on Wu, so you can see the poke damage coming up from Chiwu. And we have that third skill that has been ventilated back from Gani. And this is exactly what Make It Bud was talking about. Daily Promise comes out once again, putting everybody to sleep, re-dumping attack bars once again.
And Gani does have that third skill up, so he's going to be able to dump attack bars again. Remember, when you have a Gani Hathor lockdown, any proc is gigantic, so once O2LOVEO gets a couple of these procs going, it's going to be game over. And if you also note, Charmi's units are way too squishy to be able to be playing like this versus Gani Hathor.
That's right, we do have Seal of Magic up here. We're going to be seeing it going on to the Josephine. That's resetting that passive. No more shields are going to be coming up for that unit. Wunsa should be able to finish off that Velajul and does so. And we're going to see O2LOVEO going after this Josephine now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic case of playing Summoner's War and playing one player back in the day when we didn't have RTA. All you had to do was play with yourself. That's exactly what we're seeing. Charmi's not really in this game at all, but did actually get a lucky proc there.
Did get that lucky proc. He's able to get his immunity up there. No additional turn because it already procced to get that. Hopefully getting a stun here to make some sort of traction in this match. Does not receive the stun. You can see the ventilate back on to that Hathor, and you know exactly what's going to be going on here. Oh,
yeah, and I think O2LOVEO is thinking about unsummoning that Chiwu after this match because Chiwu was missed consistently. Just missed that Fran, and again, has to put everything to sleep here. But again, Fran does have heals, so this game is not quite over yet.
Not quite over. If Charmi keeps getting these additional turns, it might work out for him, but we're going to find out because O2LOVEO is lacking the damage like we've been saying.
O2LOVEO does lack the damage, but again, this is Gani Hathor lockdown here. It's very oppressive. But again, Charmi's units don't exactly do a lot of damage yet. You're going to need to see a few more cycles of cooldowns, and so that's exactly what we're going to wait to see. And Josephine does need to stun stuff, otherwise 2Love still has control.
That's right, and I do believe that passive's back up on the Josephine. There it is. Shields are coming back here. We're going to see a provoke, possibly. No, chooses to go for a stun onto that Hathor. No glancing is getting applied to Ciara here. We're going to see a second skill go onto the Fran and still not apply the anti-buff.
Yeah, that's a very, very big sleep stun onto the Hathor. But again, Hathor procs out, so Ganny's going to be able to exert some sort of control soon, and 2Love's going to be able to take control.
There we go. Josephine finally landing a stun here, getting it on the Hathor. And we got Fran healing itself up. No sleep coming from this Chiwu. Seal of Magic's coming out for CR and the additional turn. It's never good to see a Ganny getting additional turns here. Maybe it is for 2Love, though.
Actually, it's getting quite close because that Hathor, again, 2Love's unit's way too squishy. That Hathor is almost dead here. I think that's enough auto attack damage to take out that Hathor. So again, 2Love's Hathor having no health, not looking like a G3 Hathor, but looking like a C3 Hathor is being taken out here.
Hey, you can see Charmi is really taking his time here. He's thinking about taking out the Hathor, chooses to drop the units. And we're looking at Fran receiving a lot of damage here because that was the decision. Either Fran was going to heal up, cross his fingers for a violent proc, or finish off the Hathor, and he went for the Hathor kill instead.
And this is going to come down to who has the better rune units here. I mean, you're looking at no one has any heals, 2 units on 3. But again, 2Love's got very fast units. Wusa does have some cooldowns up, and Ganymede is going to need to proc a couple of times to get some sort of control on 2Love's side.
Yep, there's a provoke coming onto the wound, so looking for a stun here. No stuns, 2-turn sleep, but maybe that works out for Charmi. I don't think he wanted to have that there. No stun goes out onto the Ganymede. Ciara hoping for another turn here, does get the additional turn. Bomb is going to be coming out here. It's suddenly looking very good for Charmi.
Yeah, looking amazing for Charmi, but missing a bomb there is huge.
Missing a bomb there was huge, and not finishing off that Ganymede as well. Can Chiwu do it? And he does! Chiwu does drop the CR. That is going to be it for Charmi. There's no way he's going to be coming back here with this reset coming out, almost finishing it off there. And 2Love taking the first round against Charmi.
That's very interesting. You see 2Love is super emotional. You could see him fist pumping. You could see him emotionally invested in every step of the game. Super entertaining to watch that camera there. Obviously, off draft, I actually thought 2Love should have won, and the reason why is that he had the Ganny Hathor opening, Ganny Hathor Chiwu, and I wasn't crazy about that. But Charmi picked a response that used, I think it was Josephine and Veladrul, and that's not the response you want to do against a Ganny Hathor. You typically want a super fast Amelia or some sort of a Molly play, right? Because when you're going Ganny Hathor, you're very light on damage. So I think 2Love actually won that draft there and almost got lucked out, but managed to hang in there.
Well, maybe Charmi can get a little luck going into this round 2. We have the Chiwu and Ciara getting banned out. Charmi does have that first pick. Let's see what they're going to possibly take here. Might be a Hathor, so 2Love can't lock in this Ganny Hathor combination. I would definitely be digging into one of these, and it is. Charmi's going to be drafting that Hathor and taking it away from 2Love.
And so we might see a Gianna Ganymede here to actually taking the Wunsa, taking it away from Charmi. Interesting pick there. I really don't like a Wunsa pick this early. I mean, think of Wunsa as like a Triton, and it really leaves you, it makes you committed to going in first turn. And doing that allows Charmi to go into some sort of Leo Mollies down the line. Nephthys is always a great pick. That's why it's so powerful. It can be used anywhere. But again, I'm not sure about this response from 2Love into that Hathor.
We'll see here. Really putting a lot of thought into it. Charmi finally locks in a Vanessa Fran.
Yeah, and of course, taking Gianna and Wunsa together is actually very scary. And scary as in, if I'm the user that has Gianna Wunsa here, I'm not happy because you are very light on damage. And if someone brings in like a Vertihile, it's very strong against you. 2Love is representing a very damage-light comp here. So Charmi just needs to bring in something that does a lot over time. Lucia is a great pick, and I'm not sure about Josephine. It signals a ban onto the Gianna, and you really don't need to ban Gianna because Gianna and Wunsa are terrible together.
Ooh, Charmi has a lot of sustain on this side of the field. 2Love looking to respond with a little bit of sustain himself, hovering over a Molly. Does he lock it in, though? Double water unity decides to bring in the Savannah.
Yeah, and I think Savannah's a great pick, but it doesn't really matter at that point because Charmi's angling it to ban the 5th unit out. 2Love's fallen into the trap of, if I have an LD monster, I'm just pulling it out, and that's the wrong mentality.
Well, here we go, guys. We're going in a round 2 with 2Love and Charmi. Hathor taking first turn. Probably a swift Hathor, though.
probably a Swift Hathor or the world's slowest Wunsa, one or the other here. Either way, Wunsa's being put to sleep there.
Well, Gianna's planting that bomb on Hathor, looking for a full strip stun here. Does not get it, and the Josephine is going to be staying up.
Yeah, and at the same time here,
onto the Gianna as well.
Yeah, and Two Love does have that Ganymede. It's going to be able to exert control, and again, that Juno's going to do a ton of damage and kind of give his team a little bit of healing here. So right now, it's kind of undetermined who has a better draft.
And Vanessa did get reset here. We have that bomb still sitting on top of the Hathor. Hathor does have a shield to help protect it just a little bit, but I think, choosing not to go for a strip there, and does get the Despair stun onto the Fran.
Yeah, definitely not going for the strip here. At this point here, Charmy's saving that Fran skill 2 in response to that Juno skill 2. There's a little bit of rock, paper, scissors of who, or a little bit of game of chicken of who moves first here. And so Charmy's trying to find a good time to use that skill, but it's hard to find.
Charmi landing that provoker. These guys are playing very, very quickly. They know exactly what they want here. Looking for a full strip, not receiving that full strip with the Wunsa. The shield still remains atop of the Fran. Fran possibly looking to get the immunity and attack buffs up here, and does so.
Yeah, and basically Charmy's forcing out the strip from the Juno here, and I actually don't like Two Love's position. Actually, that's a great stun, but Two Love's Gianna's way too squishy. You saw that being dropped too quickly, and you see how much damage it's taking. It's not going to last very much longer.
Yep, not receiving a full strip either. We still have the shields and buffs still on top of that Hathor. We get the anti-buff coming out from the Wunsa onto the Fran. Fran does have a second skill cleanse.
Fran does not need to cleanse, can cleanse though, but a skill 1 and a back-to-back skill 1s from Fran and Josephine would have wiped out that Gianna. So calculated move, knowing that later on down the line he can move that Gianna. Gianna's going to go down.
There we go, Vanessa dropping that Gianna, getting the defense break on top of the Ganymede. Wunsa crossing his fingers for a 2-turn stun, not getting the sleep onto the Fran. Fran has the attack buff, reducing the attack bars of this, not reducing the attack bars of the Ganny, but dealing a little bit of damage here.
Yeah, and at this point here, Charmy just needs to survive. I mean, Two Love doesn't really have a great source of heals. Two Love is in a lot of trouble, and Charmy looks like he's doing a ton of damage with that Josephine, too.
Definitely in a lot of trouble here. Josephine was able to drop that Ganymede, and we could see a little bit of damage coming towards the Wunsa, and now Juno, going after the Fran.
And again, Two Love's unit's way too squishy. G3 speeds, but Fighter 3 health and survivability. You see those units melting instantly, and that's going to be the reason why he's losing this game here.
There we have it. I mean, that's a ton of sustain for Charmy's side of the field. He was able to hold off Two Love going into this round 2. Josephine has the potential of soloing. I know the Vanessa is there, but I'm not sure we're going to see the solo.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to see the solo here. This is Two Love just taking his sweet time, understanding that if he loses again, this could be his last SWC for a year, so he wants to enjoy every last minute. But of course, unit's way too squishy for that situation with no heals, and that's exactly why he's out.
Yep, that's right. More poke damage coming onto this Juno. Even going for a nice heal on Fran and not getting the attack reduction there, but there you have it. We have Charmi taking round 2 away from Two Love. We're going into a game 3.
Yeah, so Charmy looking very good there. And of course, I think one of the problems with Two Love's draft is also that he picked a Gianna and a Wunsa together. So Wunsa generally is a very fast unit that doesn't really do a ton after it uses skill 3. So whenever you take that and a Gianna together, you don't really get to stun with the Gianna. It's kind of a weird situation. I mean, just because you have all these LD Nat 5s does not mean you need to use it. Right? So Two Love kind of falling into that classic trap that we see a lot of, I would say, a lot of players with many LDs falling to.
Yep, well, you can see the new pre-bans coming out here. Neftis getting pre-banned for Two Love, and we see Gianna getting pre-banned for Charmy. First pick's going to Two Love.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, makes sense. Neftis is one of the most overpowered monsters, and so is Gianna. And that was the same exact pre-bans as we saw in the first game here. They're not wasting any time, and they're just laying down their first picks really quickly.
Yep, Hathor getting first pick, and we got the CR. And once again, he's going to be letting the Ganny Hathor to Two Love. Is Two Love going to be taking the Ganny again?
I mean, he can definitely take the Ganny. I definitely would not take a Chiwu Ganny. I think you can mix a Chiwu Okeanos or something like that. But at the same time, I don't know if Chiwu's the pick. I would have liked to see some sort of a Daphnis play. Because at this point here, if Charmy decides to go completely turn to mix in some sort of a Molly, mix in some sort of a Swift Amelia, or mix in some sort of a Vertihile Leo into Molly, I think Charmy's going to get this one in the bag. So Two Love is not really, I think, being a little preemptive with snagging that Ganny Hathor.
Looking like taking this, taking the Wunsa away and drafting a Miho on the side of Charmy's field.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Miho here because O2LOVEO does have 2 picks left, and Gani and Hathor, unless you put them on crit damage with high crit rate, are pretty good in the Miho. So I'm not sure about the Miho pick here. And of course, if that Okeanos is not on a crit damage build, that Okeanos also destroys Miho. So I'm not sure about that Miho pick. Generally a Panda pick. I know the stat there says 100%, but the players he was playing against and beat them with must be Fighter 2s because this does not work in the G3 level.
Well, it looks like Juno and Okeanos going to be wrapping up O2LOVEO's draft here. One last pick coming out for Charmi.
And I do not like that.
It is going to be a Verdi.
And I think he ran out of time with that Juno pick there. Then you saw that timer run down because Juno is not a great picker at all. Does not address a lot of the problems. Does not address that Miho. It's very weak in the Miho, and you do not want to lay that down at this point. So I think O2LOVEO's in a bit of trouble here because this draft is very one-dimensional. Does not have a lot of different components as opposed to Charmi, which kind of has a bit of everything in this draft.
Yep, I definitely agree with you here. Hathor is getting banned out. Ciara is getting banned out. I mean, speed leads coming out for O2LOVEO. O2LOVEO definitely taking first turn here, guys. This is round 3 between O2LOVEO and Charmi. Let's see who's going to come out on top with this one. I know O2LOVEO's going to get first turn. I am sorry, O2LOVEO does not get first turn.
Yeah, O2LOVEO definitely does not. Wounds generally ruined very quickly. I'm not sure about that Hathor ban because now you have a Gani Okeanos lockdown, and that's generally going to control this lineup here. But that Fran is super fast.
Yep. Juno was able to get that Despair stun on top of the Verdi heal. And we have Fran here possibly looking to buff up. Ooh,
Yeah, Fran's not buffing up because he wants to save it. Wants to save it for that Chiwu there. That little bit of that rock, paper, scissors, chicken game here where you want to be able to keep those buffs in case Chiwu has skill 3. Verta how procking. O2LOVEO's not happy about it, but really doesn't matter. You're in a lot of trouble anyways.
Violent Verdi heal getting that initial turn, pushing up those attack bars. Miho almost finishing off that Okeanos though, and I think Wounds is going to be doing the job there and does so. I think O2LOVEO's about to get Miho.
Yeah, and I think, well, at this point here, it's just he's straight up losing, not just getting Miho here, because he's lost his Okeanos, lost a huge source of damage and control with stuns. There's no way O2LOVEO can come back from this because that third Miho is just going to be able to take over.
Yep, that is correct. You can see additional turns coming. I'm sorry, the revenge coming out of that Verdi heal. And now Verdi heal is going to be pushing up more attack bar. Focus right now is going to be this Chiwu.
Yeah, and of course, O2LOVEO's not happy about this, but again, he doesn't really have enough damage output. I mean, I can't imagine a world in which Juno beats out Miho, so this is pretty much it for O2LOVEO, and we're going to see him in next year's SWC, but in this year's, he's going to be shown the door real soon.
There you have it. I mean, Fran's going to be buffing up. This is going to be attack buff. Miho not finishing off that Juno just yet. A little bit of poke damage coming back onto the Juno. 100% in Charmi's side of the field. O2LOVEO refuses to give up here, and we can see the Despair stuns coming out on to the Wunsa.
He's refusing to give up, but I don't know what kind of situation, what kind of chance he has. There we go.
And there you have it. Charmi's taking that round 1 away from O2LOVEO. Charmi's going to be moving forward.
Yeah, and that game just came down to misreading the speeds of the draft there. Wunsa obviously usually built toward the 330 range, upper 320s. And of course, with the 10 lead, is going to outspeed a lot of Chiwu. So O2LOVEO not really calculating the speeds well there, and so he got outsped, and that's essentially why he lost. I mean, the Miho could have been any monster.